Seems legit. Hey Legitimates, welcome back to my channel. Keeping with the Father's Day spirit of everything, I have made this very cute can cooler. I didn't get a can to put in it, but you get the idea. This is a super quick pattern. You can make the whole thing start to finish in under half an hour, unless you're doing embroidery, and that doesn't include the time because I don't know what you're putting on there. But this one I have done out of leather. It's like some weird, they painted the texture on. When I bought it, I didn't think it was that, but it's fine. So it's really, really quick. You just need some thread, some leather or cork or vinyl. You can kind of go any way with that. And I put a little bit of Insulbright in there just to make it better. So if you'd like to see how to make this, stay tuned. Right, so I did this off camera because I don't give out measurements and you would have seen them all. But I have cut out, so the little pattern pieces come to cut out these shapes from a rectangle so that we end up with this on both ends and then this, which will be like mirrored in the middle. I have also used some glue to put some padding onto here. So this is Insulbright, and I've made it so that the metal side is up, basically so we don't have as much fuzzy stuff to deal with. And you need to draw these lines in there as well. So that's basically the center. So if you wanted to, and I should have done it and I didn't, you can also do some laser engraving or embroidery or whatever you want here. On the pictures, I did kind of print them out with my very dodgy printer. They have also, if you have a look, they've done like some cool top stitching. So they've used cork. You could top stitch. This was a weird leather. In the picture when I purchased this, it didn't look like this. It looked like it was distressed. What it actually is like this weird painted thing. So I just thought that this would be perfect for a can cooler, stubby cooler, whatever you want to call them. We call them stubby coolers. It's called a can cooler on here. So I've got the instructions. I haven't read through them, but it doesn't really seem all that difficult. Draw the pattern is the whole first piece. Stick this on, which I have done, and then we're just going to fold this over by the look of it, and then stitch around it, and then stitch the sides and turn it through. Okay, so we have to turn this through. That should be fun. So at this line that we had to draw, we're going to fold it over, which you don't even really need to see because the whole point is line up these raw edges. We're going to use a lot of clips for this. I want it to be really, really pretty and even. Even is good. Like so. And there. You can also put some more glue on it if you want to. You could pre-glue this whole thing and then just do the top stitching. I didn't, because then you wouldn't see anything, or I'd be waiting for glue to dry all day, which is never fun. I don't have that kind of patience. So that's one side, and then we're going to fold over the other side, match up the corner, match up the other corner. This should also line up in the middle. You don't obviously have to put the Insulbright. You could also use a thicker leather. I'm just using what I've got lying around. But this would be really fun Father's Day gift because you can personalize it. If you can sew, you can personalize it. You can do it in his favorite color, or like I said, embroidery, or I mean, you could top stitch a design. Gets a little bit more tricky and complicated for that. Leather's always nice though, feels more elegant. And then if you've got a laser, you can just laser their initials or a picture of something they like a truck or a motorbike or some gears or a sloth. I don't know, it depends on what you're into. But that's what we've got. And so now we need to, does it say where it wants us to start and stop? This fold is now the top. So if you want to think about that, that's how it's going to be. So we don't want to start on that edge. I'm thinking I might start all the way down here. Doesn't really say where to start. And that's okay. So I'm going to go up to a 4 stitch length, nice and long. I'm also thinking maybe I will stitch each side of here. So we're going to start here. We're going to go stitch and then back stitch. I've got shoes on. So much harder to sew in shoes, I think, personally. Needle down. We're going to have to move this because it's going to be in the way. And I'm stitching 1/8 of an inch from the edge. We need to move that so we don't hit things. Make sure it's lined up. It did just move a smidgy bit. So again, glue might be your best option. Needle down. Just got to keep moving your bowl around. Top stitch along here. Down the other side. It's all really quite simple. It's just a bit fiddly, that's all. Okay, so when we get to here, I'm going to chop off those tails. Always trim your tails. And then we're going to go across and then 1 extra stitch, and then we're going to come down this way and do the same thing, but just on the other side. Constantly moving your bowl so you don't knock all your clips everywhere. I have done it before. It's not fun to have to clean them up. Needle down. Always needle down when you pivot. It means you won't lose your spot. I've also ended up with the bulk inside the machine. That was not really my intention, but because it's not so insanely bulky, it's not the end of the world either. Needle down, pivot. Needle down, take away that last clip. Needle down, last bit. So then when we get back to the first lot of stitching here, we're going to back stitch and then 1 more stitch forward and lock it all in. Ta-da! How good's that looking? So then with the fold on the outside, we're just going to fold these 2 sides together. We're going to have to turn this through. So this is going to, the hardest part I think of this is going to be turning it so that the seam that I'm about to do is on the inside. Now, some options, I've been thinking this through, some options would be to lay both sides flat and zigzag across it. If you've got one of those machines, 100% you should do that. This is only straight stitching, so only straight stitching is my option. So we are going to start here. We are going to stitch, back stitch, forward stitch, and then back stitch again. That is some very, very strong amount of stitching so that it won't pull apart when I try and turn it through. So I'm going to do the same at this end as well. Basically back stitching twice. Now I'm going to show you that up close so that you can see. See, there's like a lot of stitching. That's now not going to pull when I try and turn it through. A single back stitch, I don't know if that's going to do it. It depends, I suppose, on how stiff your can cooler is. If you've done all the quilting and stuff, that's actually going to make it more stiff, which is fine until it comes to pulling it apart. So again, double back stitching. You can even do triple, but do it slowly because you want to go through the same holes. So that's it in a nutshell. Now we just need to turn it through. So I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to actually push the seam part first. Keeping in mind this is leather. It's not the best leather ever, but it is leather. I don't have a can. because I'm not allowed to drink Red Bull anymore. But it is done. So this fold turned out to be the top. Fits in your hand very, very well. And so the inside, you've just got the seams at the side. So the closer you get to the edge, the less bulky that will be. But on the flip side of that problem is, if you get too close, it's likely to come unfrayed. So I do still think that you should stick to the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, which is 3 millimeters for those in Australia that don't work in inches. But super cute, super quick. This whole video was like 10 minutes and it maybe took not even 5 minutes to cut. So if you need a gift in a half hour, perfect little present. Not just for Father's Day, women drink too. But you can really customize this area. But it's leather, so it's nice. Should last forever. Alright guys, well thank you for joining me and I will see you next time. Bye.